telling me that you don't understand the severity of things. You don't understand what it means for a person to go on the journey where they get to the point where they say, I'm done. My justification, which I'm assuming is the same for a lot of people, is that if I'm gone, I'm not in pain anymore. I've had moments when I was really depressed, and I don't use it to say that I was sad. I mean moments where nights were nights, days were nights, and it just went on for like a very long time. And sometimes I ask myself, why is your first thought to run instead of to stay and fight? I don't know if that's a lesson I didn't learn, but I am Nigerian, so I feel like, first of all, that makes me a strong person. For anything else, adds to that strength. I don't know that you can justify something that you can't fully understand. So justification will come when we have a full understanding of why this happens. And because when it is successful, the people aren't there to tell the story, it's really hard to see it through.
You can't expect the leaders to magically do something that is in the collective populace, right, is not there. You can't give what you don't have. That's why I say that the few people who understand the value of this and are the voices, that's where the real work is, because before you get to the government, you have to get to the people. Now, the idea is that you get some people in government. Like I said, this is mid-2024, so that law was signed at least 17 months ago. I can't tell you how much money has been earmarked to mental health. But then for me to even talk about the money earmarked to mental health, let's talk about the money earmarked to health
itself.
So, when you talk about priorities, you can see already that
it's not a priority.
It's not a priority, right? Which is what makes it so sad, because more people are living with it, which is why we play, sadly, when you look at the statistics of top countries for suicide. Unfortunately, Nigeria is on the list.
People would call me crying, and there's nothing that could be said. They have a good job, they have the money. It's not money, they're not hungry. Because here, when you talk about mental health, people say, no worry, if you get money way, go, they think about to die. That's not, because people have jobs. Katie Spade had a good job, a good husband from the outside, what we could see. And she had a child that she loved, and she hung herself and left a note for her daughter and said, ask daddy. And the question was, what happened to mom? And he said, your mom has been depressed for years. She's been putting up a front for you because she loves you, but at some point, her strength couldn't carry it anymore. So people at that point were talking about things. I didn't have to help them, because if it was money, maybe I would say let's crowdsource or crowdfund for the money. If it was something else, would have been able to help. But I agree that it is an illness. I don't know if medically people can pinpoint to the part of the brain that is sick and say, okay, it is here.
Let us expunge it.
Let's do something about it. But there's a lot of theories around why people feel the way that they feel. And because I'm not able to see, to point out and say, this is the place that we've said that is wrong, it is multifaceted. It's a lot of things.
Mental health issues is not placed at the priority. Another sad part is that the stigma that is being associated with either mental health or even the suicide thoughts, it's so painful that a lot of people would rather pretend, and some people are good at it. You will never suspect anything is wrong with them. Why? Because they don't want you to look at them with that kind of eye. But they are going through so much. Their family members, their husbands, their wife, their children is probably the trigger to their mental problem. And at the end of the day, every man for himself. But like Buffer mentioned, having a community also helps. And there are a couple of other NGOs that are basically supporting people with mental health issues.
The truth is, you really cannot tell what would be that last trigger that would just tip, the tipping point. You can't tell, So that's why when we have conversations like this, right, I would think that a sensible government would understand that at some point, some of these laws, they were good, maybe at certain times. Where we are right now, the kinds of complication that the average Nigerian have to go through is alarming. If they're not fighting for their lives, they're fighting for their safety. If they're not fighting for their life, look at all the people that have been through kidnapping and all of that, what they've had to. Do you know the kind of trauma, right, that they would have to go through? So there's a lot that can justify why someone would decide to say, you know what, I think I'm done.